Bree here. This is probably the most nervous I've ever been to film a video. I'm basically bearing my soul to you, telling you all the messy details of my life and not holding back. I even have embarrassing childhood pictures. So why am I doing this? Really, I just felt like I wanted to connect with you more. Like, I'm authentically myself in all my videos, that I make that a point, but I feel, it's just kind of surface level, and I wanted to go deeper than that. I wanted to share more with you, and since this is my birthday that I'm filming this, it seems like the right time to share the first 28 years of my life with you. So I was born on April 26th, that's the day I'm filming this, 1994. I grew up in a really small Midwest town in the middle of Missouri. When I was around 4 years old, my parents got a divorce. No idea if I'm actually 4 in this picture. I just grabbed one that looked about the right age. I don't know exactly the timing on a lot of these pictures. I was just like, sure, this looks right. I didn't really have a good relationship with my biological father, Jeff. That's what I just call him Jeff. Because of the court mandate, I had to see him every other weekend, and I hated it so much that it made me physically ill. And don't get me wrong, it's not like he treated me bad. It's just that he never really put in the efforts, and honestly, I felt like I was just going over there to hang out with my stepbrother, and I was like, what's the point? So I grew up being my socially awkward self. I have so much sass in this picture, dang. Trust me, I was way more shy and awkward than this picture portrays. I had one good friend and otherwise was extremely unpopular. I didn't really know myself back then. I basically just followed around my best friend, Allie, and did whatever she wanted. She was one of those people that thought her opinions were fact, and if you disagreed with her, you were wrong. And I didn't want to be wrong, especially not with my only friend. So I just let her ideas become my ideas and became a little mini-me of her, which she loved. So yeah, we were completely inseparable growing up. And I honestly can't remember the age for some of this stuff. A lot of this is just guesstimates. I think I was around 10 or 11 because it was after my half-sister was born to Jeff and his now other ex-wife. So that seems about the right age. But I think it was either a long weekend I was spending with them, or maybe it was during the summer, so I spent a whole week with them. I got really sick because I did not want to be there. And I was like, I just need to go home. And then after that, I was like, I'm not going back. I just put my foot down. I was like, no, this is really taking a toll on me. I'm not doing this anymore. I think Jeff maybe called me once or twice after that. But, like I said, he didn't really put in effort where I was concerned, so it kind of just fizzled out. On a happier note, I was also in dance classes as a kid. I loved dancing. I went to a lot of competitions. It was so much fun. Eventually, our dance troupe got invited to perform on a cruise ship, and this is significant because, I was in dance with the daughter of my former babysitter. And I feel like I need to map out a tree here. But, so I was in dance with daughter of babysitter, go on cruise, and her mom brought along her brother on the cruise. And me and my single mother had never been on a cruise before. They had, so we spent a lot of time with them, especially since she was my babysitter grew up. We knew them. They were family friends. So my mom met my old babysitter's brother, and now they're married. And anytime you hear me refer to my dad, that's who I'm talking about, because that's my actual dad. Your dad is the person that's actually there for you, and he's the best. When I was in 7th grade, I started to make other friends. That sounds so sad. When I was in 7th grade, I finally had more than one friend. Wow. One of which was Caitlin, who unfortunately moved away at the end of the school year. The other was Nick, who is in this picture here. This is us at a concert with my parents. Technically, I dated Nick, but it was middle school. It doesn't really count. Like, we basically just hung out, and I didn't understand that the way I felt for him wasn't that. Yeah, I don't like to talk about this or think about this because I consider him my brother. Like, I actually call him my brother. He spent like half his time at my house when we were younger, went on our family vacations. Like, this is one of our family vacations. And he was a groomsman in my parents' wedding. Like, my parents all but legally adopted him, and to this day, they refer to him as their son. So that brings us to high school. I was already a band kid. I played the drums. But when marching band started up, I became one of the, we just called them flag twirlers at my school, but the actual name is color guard. It was kind of a replacement for dance since I didn't do that anymore. Here I am, and this is actually Allie. Proof that we were inseparable. We are literally right next to each other. I also got the chance to dive into something I was always passionate about, theater. At this point, I really wanted to be an actress when I grew up. I was always a super shy kid, as I said, but on the stage, I felt at home. And my theater teacher, Mr. Ward, was such an inspiration to me. This is me playing Bianca in Taming of the Shrew. This is my wedding dinner. My sophomore year of high school was a big year for me. This is when I finally chopped off my hair and dyed it black. This is also when I met my ex, Caleb. He was a grade above me, and we did theater together. That's how I met him. We got together a little before my 16th birthday. I'm sure there were red flags back then, but frankly, I try not to think too much about it. Here's me at prom that year. Next year, my junior year, I started to struggle more. We got a new theater teacher who only cast the popular people because she graduated from that school and was basically trying to relive her high school days and get in with the popular clique. And Caleb and I started fighting a lot. Like a lot. He made me feel terrible about myself. I struggled with depression a little bit before, but this is when it started becoming a daily struggle. Prom picture from my junior year, and that's prom. Caleb actually gave me a promise ring. Senior year was a little better. Caleb was already off to college, and I had pretty chill classes that year, and this is definitely my favorite prom look. Oh, I love it. And another picture of it just because I love it that much. And I think this is a great picture of me. One of my highlights of my high school experience was actually graduation. I was salutatorian, second in my class after Allie. She keeps coming up. So I got to give a speech. And I was actually really excited about this because I love public speaking. And I didn't really hold back in my speech. I said everything pretty nicely, but I basically called out the entire school for being superficial and that there were so many of us that were swept under the rug that no one got to actually know. So some of my saltiness came out, and I was also the only speech to get a standing ovation. The best parts, this memory is just one of my favorite memories. That night, one of the popular girls who had bullied me came up to me, gushing about what a great speech I had given and how I should be a public speaker. I then went on to College of the Ozarks, a private Christian college, which incidentally was the same place that Caleb chose to go to college. I majored in special event management since the second theater teacher I had killed my passion for theater. And I minored in ministry. At this time, I wanted to be a wedding planner and or a youth minister. And look at my first dorm room. It is so tiny. And no, Allie did not go to the same college as me, thankfully. She just helped me to move in. Someone who did go to the same college as me, though, was Caitlin, my friend from 7th grade. And so the two of us got super close again, and she's still my best friend to this day. It was in college that my mental health plummeted. I assumed that a lot of it stemmed from Jeff, so I reached back out to him. We got in contact for a bit, but I was always the one having to make the effort, so I eventually gave up on that. Looking back, I know the fact that I was spending so much time with Caleb, with the both of us living on campus, that definitely contributed to the decline in my mental health. I remember at some point during my freshman year, I found a list of signs of an emotionally abusive relationship. About 75%, if not more, applied to Caleb and me. At the time, I wondered if I should talk to him about it, then immediately felt terrible for even having that thoughts. Because that's what being in an abusive relationship does to you. Even when it's all spelled out, you've essentially been trained to feel guilty for thinking poorly of the abuser. I don't remember much of my sophomore year. I've blocked out most of it. I have big gaps in my memory from that year. Caleb was taken to a mental hospital, and then he broke up with me. I'd already been teetering on the edge of a full breakdown, and that pushed me over it. I struggled with eating disorders, self-harm, started making attempts to unalive myself. This is also a time during which I struggled with my faith. I grew up in the church and had been a Christian all my life, but during this time I stopped considering myself a believer simply because God wasn't giving me a way out of my pain. I changed my minor from ministry to public speaking. I got help though. I started seeing a therapist, got on some medication, and things got even better when Caitlin and I became roommates. By the end of the school year, I'd come a long way down the healing path. I was also finally able to see how God was working in my life. The best way I can describe it is that it was like I was in darkness all alone. But then I turned around and realized that God had been holding out his hand to me the entire time, and all I had to do was take it. I just hadn't turned around to look. That may sound really cheesy, but that's the best way that I can describe what it was like for me. I stayed on campus that summer to work at the museum there, and that's where I met Stephen. I was interested in him within the first week, but I knew he was the type of guy that would want a serious relationship, and after Caleb, that terrified me, and I wasn't sure that I was ready. So instead, when I got shown positive attention from a guy that I did not know, had absolutely nothing in common with, I started talking to him and spent time with him. And I'm not going to go into detail about what happened. After that, I got closer to Stephen and realized that maybe I did want to take that leap because, the serious relationship seemed a lot better than what I just experienced. We both really liked Doctor Who, so I threw a Doctor Who party that summer, partially as a chance to hang out with him. Here is a picture from it of me cosplaying as River and him as the 11th Doctor. So I was like, okay, yeah, I like this guy. I want to pursue things with him. So I asked him to a concert, but he had conflicting plans and also didn't realize I was asking him out. So I tried again and asked him to a movie, but he already had plans to see that movie with his family. And he still didn't realize I was asking him out, despite the fact that I took every opportunity to hang out with him. I was about to give up at this point because I figured he was just trying to let me down gently. But I prayed about it and was led to just try one more time. I was just like, God, I thought you wanted me with this guy, but I don't think it's happening. And he's just like, try one more. Just once more. It'll be fine. So, not wanting to leave any room for confusion, I made a scavenger hunt leading to a note asking him out. And obviously he said yes. We took things slow, which was good. It was his first relationship ever, and with everything I'd gone through, I definitely needed the slower pace. Steven already had an established group of friends at the school, and Caleb had, never let me make friends. So it was really great to be in a friend group, and I fit right in. They are awesome, still a great group of friends that I still talk to. It was really surreal for me though, because I'd never had a group of friends before. And I think this was also when I started to realize that the way Allie treated me wasn't the way someone treats their friends. And I'd also already gotten a lot closer to Caitlin than I was to Allie at this point, and she'd been friends with Allie too. So through my conversations with her, it came to light that Allie was keeping things from me and didn't talk about me in such a great way to other people. So Caitlin and I both ended up cutting her out of our lives. And while I know that it was the right decision, it was a very toxic friendship, I do wish I'd gone about it differently. She'd been my lifelong best friend, and despite everything, I think she deserved a conversation instead of just ghosting her. But what's done is done. I don't think anything else notable happened in college except for my anxiety going off the charts my senior year. But I graduated with honors and then went on to get my master's in business management online. I worked at a food truck during this time and then got my first big girl job as a paralegal at a law firm. In 2017, Steven got all of our friends involved in a scavenger hunt across our old college campus leading to the museum where we met, where he asked me to marry him. Here is a couple other pictures from that. We got married in June of 2018 and moved into our first apartment. So we lived in the apartment for a little over a year and then we moved into this house. Then 2020 happened. I'd already moved on to a different law firm by this point, and when March hit, we all started working from home. I started watching a lot of YouTube during this time, mostly Azzyland. As someone who's always had a really hard time being myself, I found it super inspiring how unabashedly herself she was. Things that I thought were cringy about myself were some of the things that made her endearing. So I thought, if she can do it, why can't I? And then maybe I could inspire people like she does. Another contributing factor was, as an extrovert, I was feeling the effects of lockdown. And YouTube ended up being a way that I could still interact and connect with people while being confined to my house. I was pretty sure I would end up liking making videos. I mean, it kind of took me back to my theater roots a little bit, but I didn't anticipate how much it would grow my confidence and feed my soul. Again, that may sound cheesy. I'm just all with the cheese this video, but I don't know how else to say it. It feels so good to create something I can be proud of. When we went back to working at the office, I became aware of just how stifling I found the environments. I think there's some people who can be perfectly happy working an office job 8 to 5 every day. I am not one of those people, especially with the pandemic still being a thing and me being high risk due to my asthma. Going back to the office caused a lot of anxiety for me. So after a lot of conversations with Steven, I ended up quitting my job and starting my own business as a travel agent. So that catches us up to where I am today. That was long, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm not good at summarizing things. It was difficult to talk about some of this stuff, you probably noticed. But if something I said resonates with even one person, I've always wanted to help people. That's why I want to be a youth minister, just to be there in people's lives, to give support where it's needed. And I feel as though through YouTube I can do that. I can reach people who may have had similar experiences to me, or can just offer a nice distraction to help you escape whatever's going on in your life, because we all need that sometimes. So that's why I do this. That's why I love doing this, and why I will continue to do this for as long as anyone will continue to watch me. If this has brought up any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. If I end up getting a lot of questions, I might end up making a follow-up video, but I don't know if that'll happen. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, and if you want to keep watching, there should be a more lighthearted video popping up right here. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the Ineffable community, because you are ineffable.